Welcome everyone to the Civitai.com stream. I am your host, Ali, Civitai's Community Engagement Manager, and we're about to do office hours on this fine Wednesday. Let me know if you can hear me. Hey. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me. Yep, good stuff. All right. This is Wednesday's stream. It's Wednesday, yeah. It's Wednesday's stream. Yep. It's your chance to bring me your questions and your concerns about Civitai.com, and I will give you some updates on what we've been doing behind the scenes. If you don't know what Civitai is, we're a platform for the creation and the sharing of AI-generated art and tools to make that art. We are swiftly becoming the Times Square of generative AI as creators flock to share their generative AI artworks. We have a huge community in the multiple millions. We have a 100,000 strong Discord community now, which is absolutely full of great content. Check that out, discord.gg/Civitai. If you're watching on Twitch or any of the other socials, I'd encourage you to head over to Discord and have a look. Conversely, if you're watching via the stream on the homepage, civitai.com, please come to Twitch or any of our socials and follow us there. When do we stream? If you're watching on Twitch, you can check out the schedule down below. You can catch me every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. My colleague Tyler has special guest interviews and AI video tutorial content and other cool stuff on his slots every Thursday and Friday. Let's get into it then. Firstly, let's talk about the notifications at the top of the page here. Issues with email login. So some users have been unable to log in for an extended period of time, unable to create accounts, and we've narrowed the issue down to our email provider. They're doing something funky, and we're still waiting to get a response from a real person. We've got multiple tickets open. We're yet to receive anything useful to rectify the situation. Unfortunate. So that's in hand as much as it can be, and we're looking at alternatives and how we're gonna fix this. So if you're affected by logging in or creating an account, you can't create an account, then please bear with us. We're doing our best to get that resolved. Replication lag, our ever-present nemesis. Replication lag has been pretty atrocious in the past week or so. We are continuing to optimize the database queries, add indexes, that sort of thing, but the amount of data that's being created every day is just surpassing the limits of the hardware. And it's as simple as that. 8,000 new signups every day, 2.2 million images generated every day, 4,000 LoRa's trained, and all of that generates records. We've been pushing the boundaries of what we can support for quite some time. You've all seen the transparency report, and if you haven't, it's down here in the newsroom section of the website. There's a transparency report that shows off all of our figures, where the money's going. Really, we just need to greatly expand our database servers. But yeah, it's money, which we don't have. Cosmic Crafter, yep, I know. I'm deliberately ignoring the chat right now. You can start throwing your vegetables at me shortly. Okay, other issues, model indexing. Newly trained or uploaded content that's just not visible on profiles or in searches. We're aware of that. We're working on it. It's on the list. It's super frustrating for all of you and for us as well, obviously. Yeah, we're aware. That is high on the priority list. So, new stuff. Let's talk about the big old elephant in the room. Full checkpoint coverage. We were ambitious. We knew it was going to be tough. We opened up all checkpoints for generation on Monday, Tuesday maybe. Was it Tuesday? And yeah, not great. We were confident that we could make it work. We onboarded a lot of new GPUs. We've got over 400 GPUs now. We rewrote our worker code to be 25% more efficient. We worked with our data center to give our workers the ability to share models between GPU, RAM, VRAM, rather than having to download each resource from Cloudflare, and it still wasn't enough. Huge demand is resulting in pretty disappointing generation timings and success rates across the board. The amount of data being transferred at the data center side is pretty staggering. We're seeing 10 gigabytes a second swapping in and out of VRAM to meet demand. Generation, yeah, so generation's still extremely flaky. It's slow, our throughput isn't good, and even worse, generation quality has degraded. Now, we're not entirely sure if this is due to the new workers. The orchestrator guys are looking at that whole thing right now. They're firing up more compute. They just pushed some experimental changes in the last 20 minutes, but worst case scenario, there is a very real chance that we will have to abandon this change. It's being considered as we speak, and I'm expecting a message during the stream letting me know what's happening. Yeah, it might just be too ambitious with the current hardware that we have. Just so that you're aware, we have 28,000 published checkpoint versions, which are all eligible for generation now. And we are seeing, right now, like as we speak, we're seeing 700 unique checkpoints being used at any one time. That's a huge increase. That is about 4 times what we were previously serving. So it's unfortunate. We'll see what our orchestrator guys can come up with in the next hour or so, and I feel sorry for them. They've been prepping for this moment for weeks and weeks. The amount of work and testing that went into this was considerable, but people always say to us, oh, why didn't you test this in UAT? Why didn't you test this on your dev boxes? It is extremely difficult to test with the kind of production load that Civitai generates. You know, tens of thousands of requests hitting the orchestrator every single minute. That's just not something that you can reproduce in dev. So we'll see what happens. Keep an eye on the announcements. One change that we did make that had an unintended side effect, and I put up an announcement about it shortly after we reversed it. Remixing was broken for a short period of time. I mean, it's still broken, but it was broken in a different way. The reason for that is that even though we use Comfy UI as the backend of image generation, we've always treated generation as if the user were prompting inside Automatic 1111. I'm not sure, many people don't realize this. This means that tokens, words, which are weighted in the prompt are normalized across the whole prompt. And that's another thing a lot of people don't realize is that Automatic 1111 normalizes all the weights added to tokens in the prompt. So it actually takes the mean value of all the weights, I believe. So if the prompt is granny 1.4 and feet 1.2, Automatic 1111 sees that very differently from Comfy UI. Weights and Comfy are not normalized. So what was happening was we mistakenly changed our prompt parsing to Comfy style instead of auto style. And that meant that any prompts with a whole bunch of weighting, like 10 instances of token 2.5, huge strengths were applying absolutely outrageous weights and returning super messed up images. Whereas those would work in the auto style because it normalizes the weight across the whole prompt. That was rolled back. However, yep, I'm hearing Shrekman, there's a bunch of people telling me that things are still broken. Absolutely, things are absolutely still not where they should be. And not just jobs timing out. There are other issues that we're aware of. Also, though, we do want to make the parsing method available as an input in the generator now that we have advanced mode in the generator, because it will let you guys reproduce images made with Comfy or made with Auto without having to mess around with the weights. But right now, we have switched back to the Auto 1111 parsing style that we've always used, and everything is fine. Yeah. All right. So we've opened up the generator, we've opened up all checkpoints, and we've also released an auction system. Auction system is linked to the full checkpoint coverage, but it's more like featured models 2.0. If we roll back generation coverage, the auction system will probably stay. It'll have to be revised a little bit, but the core concept of it will stay. You can request a feature any resource. Let me just pull it up here. Hopefully I don't see any bad stuff. It's accessible from the menu, the profile picture menu. Bad stuff looked like it's being hidden. Thank goodness for that. Previously, to have a model featured on the homepage, you'd have to pay a flat rate, 10,000 buzz, and a human reviewer would have to make the final determination on what actually became visible. Now you guys are in control with the first iteration of this auction system. The whole concept of featuring or boosting, as we're calling it now, is completely user-driven. Now, we've been taken out of the equation. Anyone can boost any checkpoint or LoRa. Boosted resources get a bunch of perks. So you get better visibility on your models, and we have a new boosted section in the resource picker in the generator. If I pull open this here, there's a boosted tab. It's the first tab, and you can see what was boosted in yesterday. There's also added perks. Boosted resources confer a 20% discount for generation for as long as they're boosted, and auctions reset every day. So this is a pretty cool system. If you'd like to get an image featured, though, you can still use the old method. I had quite a few questions about how we do that. From the homepage, below the featured images home block, there is a link called Get Featured. This one here. Still a flat 10,000 buzz. However, in the future, we may transition images and article featuring to the new auction system as well. Let's go back to auctions. So it's super simple. If you want to feature your model, you can bid it into the top 40 slots. The top 3 slots from each ecosystem will be pushed into the front page collection, the home page collection. The rest of them will appear on the boosted tab in the generator. You can, let's make a bid. Let's bid on something. You can bid on models that are already in the list. I can add some buzz to this one. I can boost it into the front. If I spent 52,000 buzz, I could boost it into, the top spot, but I'm just going to put 5 buzz on because I'm a big spender. And I have submitted a bid on that model, and it is actually bumped up into 6th place. You can see 2 bids on this. You can retract a bid at any time from your My Bids. If you decide that you don't want to bid on this, I can take that bid back. Yep, we showed you that. If you see a model that you like, hasn't quite got enough to make it into the top 40, so that's where things get interesting. So if you go to boosted checkpoints, if you look right at the bottom here, we've only got 40 bids right now, but there can be more that just aren't quite making the minimum reserve to get into the top 40. So you can drop some buzz on them, help them out, and it's all real time. You can see that there's a couple of other people viewing the auction system right now. It's pretty cool. We have taken a lot of feedback about the visibility of boosted models, and we are making improvements there. Staff rigging the system on stream. Well, I retracted my bid. Yeah, none of that. All right. So that's the bid system. Super straightforward. Don't know what much more there is to talk about. It runs for a day. You can see the start and the end time if you hover over here. It resets every day. There's a few other cool features. You can make recurring bids. If you have a model that you want to push in every single day and you've got the buzz for it, you can make a recurring bid, which you can retract at any time. Any model which doesn't make it into the top 40 will be refunded when the program resets every day. A few hiccups with that yesterday. Didn't quite go according to plan. The job that ran had some issues, and that they will hopefully fixed tonight. We'll find out in 2 hours and 38 minutes. And if you're not in the top 40, you should be refunded now. Joey Jomsey and Seb did a really good job today refunding everyone who wasn't refunded yesterday for failed bids. All right. Let's talk about the creator program. Talking of awesome new features. Creator program's out. It seems to be a success so far. It's going to take a couple of months to see the whole process in action. This is the program that allows creators to turn their buzz earned via people using their models on site and other avenues into real earnings. So we can walk through it a little bit. Eligibility first, I think, is important. Not everyone is eligible, but many people are. So creator score, you must have a creator score, this one here, of at least 40,000 to be eligible. And yeah, for the first time, we're showing what that score is. So if you come to the civitai.com/creator program, you can find it from this button down at the bottom left. You'll see your score. I've got 6.6 million. It's based upon, it's a value that we calculate behind the scenes. It's based on participation in the community, how users engage with your content, the popularity of your models, and so on. We won't be releasing the exact algorithm for it, but I can say that over 10,000 creators have a score over 40,000. So if you're active, if you're making models, it's not that hard to achieve. I've achieved it naturally on both my alt accounts, which I use for like kind of testing or fun. They're not moderation accounts. They don't have access to unlimited buzz. I have to purchase the buzz for them. It's absolutely achievable. Secondly, for eligibility, you must have a Civitai membership, at least a bronze tier membership. So bronze, silver, or gold. And each of the tiers confers slightly different options or perks for when you get into the next part of this. So let's say you meet the eligibility requirements. I do, and I've joined. We can click on this and we'll be taken to the Buzz dashboard. And this is what it looks like if you haven't seen it before. It's split into a number of cards, and we'll walk through them real quick. It looks really complex, but it's absolutely not. In its simplest form, you put Buzz in and you get money out, right? That's you can make it as complex as you want to. You can get your calculator out. You can try and figure out how much you're going to get at the end of the month, or you can just throw Buzz at it and get money out. So the compensation pool is the first thing. Compensation pool is a shared earnings pool funded by a portion of our revenue from the previous month. The size of the pool will fluctuate each month based on our revenue. So obviously we're hoping it's going to grow each month. This is the first month. The pool is $43,387.51. So you can see that we're in the banking phase right now. Each month is split into two phases. So there's a banking phase and there's an extraction phase. The banking phase starts at the beginning of the month. It lasts until 3 days before the end of the month. And during this time, creators can bank yellow buzz that they've earned. They can submit it to the bank. So you put in a number here and you hit the little piggy and that will bank it. Let's do that right now. I'm going to add 10,000 buzz to the bank. It's been added. Great stuff. I no longer have access to that buzz. It's in the bank. The more buzz that you bank, the larger your potential share of that 43,000 compensation pool is. And as more creators bank their buzz, the value of the total bank buzz will decrease because the total amount from all creators is increasing. Banking is subject to a cap based on your Civitai membership tier, like I mentioned a second ago. We'll cover why in a second. So in essence, what the banking phase is allowing you to do is just to secure a share of the compensation pool. But the value of that share isn't actually finalized until the next phase. We can estimate it, but you'll see what's happening in a second. So I will mention that the astute among you will have noticed that in this system, Buzz does not have a one-to-one, dollar amount value. It's been detached from that. So previously, in our old creator program, 1,000 Buzz was equal to $1, pretty much. There's platform fees and whatnot, but that's been removed. We're now removed from that sort of thing. The only way that we can make this work was to use a shared earnings pool. I will note that we do have a maximum value though, so 1,000 buzz can never be worth more than $1, which is the purchase price, because that would just be mad economics. All right. Extraction phase. So after the banking phase is finished, you've got the extraction phase. You've got 3 days before the end of the month, and it ends an hour before the month ends. During the extraction phase, banking is disabled, the little piggy's gone, you cannot add more buzz into the bank, but you can review your share of the compensation pool, and you can decide whether it's worth it for you to keep your buzz in the bank and receive a payout, or to extract your buzz from the bank and back to your personal buzz account. As more creators extract their buzz, the value of the remaining buzz in the bank will increase. Your share will get larger at the end of the month, as people kind of think, I'm not going to make enough this month. This isn't what I really want to do. I'm going to pull my buzz out. Every time somebody does that, your share proportionally of the pool gets bigger, and you're going to make more money. Once this phase ends, the final value of the banked buzz will be locked in, and the payouts will be determined based on your total buzz remaining in the pool. So some key takeaways there. You're in control. You decide when to bank, when to extract within each phase. You can bank many, many times throughout the month. You can extract once at the end of the month. It doesn't have to all be at once. Well, banking phase doesn't have to all be at once. The extraction is slightly different. We'll talk about that in a sec. We're expecting it to get really interesting. You can see there's already 40 million buzz in the pot, and I would expect as it comes closer to the end of the month, that will increase. People will try to bank at specific times to maximize their potential share of the pool. Estimated payouts, we've got one here, so it's telling me that my estimated payment for my 60,000 is about $40 right now. That's going to increase at the end of the month when people start to extract. Timing is going to matter. If you miss your phase, you can't retroactively bank or extract. So you really have to be mindful of deadlines, and there will be notifications sent out when the phases change. The countdown timer actually appears on the banking phase 48 hours before it ends. So there are some other caveats, though, that we have to talk about. Banking caps. Because we have quite a large number of whales, accounts that have a ton of yellow buzz saved, we are capping the amount that you can put into the bank each month based on your membership tier. So bronze members can bank 100,000 buzz flat. That's it. That's their cap for the month. Silver members can bank 125% of their peak earning month with a maximum cap of $1 million. So your peak earning month is the month over the past 12 months, over the past year, that you earned the most in. So what was my peak earning month? My peak earning month was 193,000 buzz in November 2024. I am a gold member, so my cap is 289,000 based on the amount of buzz that I have right now. Gold members, yeah, they can bank 150% of their peak earning month with no cap there. Let's see. Now, over time, as some of the whales kind of drain their buzz, this cap system will perhaps be revised. We'll have to wait and see there. Now, we've switched over from the banking phase, we're into the extraction phase. Fees. Okay, if you don't want to move forward with a payout, you can pull your buzz out of the bank if you get cold feet. You don't think maybe you want your buzz back for training, or you just don't feel like it this month. You think you're not going to make enough. I want to extract my buzz. You can pull it out of the bank, but big creators, earning a lot of buzz, could use that to manipulate the pool. They could discourage people. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious why. To discourage that, the kind of extraction phase manipulation, there will be a fee to pull your buzz out of the bank. So 100,000 buzz, there'll be no fee. If you've got less than 100,000, there'll be no fee. If you're extracting from 100,000 to 1 million buzz, we'll charge 5%. If there's I think it's a million to 5 million, it is 10%. 5 million plus is 15%. But these fees are applied kind of progressively. So your first 100,000 is fee free. The next 900,000 is 5%. The next 4 million is 10%. And then any amount remaining after that is 15%. Everyone's still following me there. All right, there is a full write-up of this on the Education Hub, by the way. If you go to education.civitai.com, come down here. This one here, Civitai Guides. We've got, stop. We've got Earning with Creator Program. We've got a guide here that covers everything that I'm talking about. All right, while that's all going on, withdrawals. Once you've been through the banking phase, once you've been through the extraction phase, and it's the proper end of the month, and you've received a payout, then you've earned some cash. It will be pending settlement. You can see that here on my dashboard. I have got $100 pending settlement here from testing. Now, we need 15 days to review the distribution of funds. So at 12 a.m. UTC on the 15th day of the month, your pending settlement funds will become ready to withdraw. And when you've made the minimum of $50, you can get paid via our payment processor. You can extract with ACH, with PayPal, with eCheck. It's fairly simple, fairly straightforward. Now, once you hit $50, that's the kind of trigger for you to receive an email. You'll receive an email to the email address that's tied to your Civitai account that will invite you to fill out your tax forms, just like signing up with Patreon or any other service or Coffee or whatever. Ko-Fi, any other service, you'll receive some tax forms that you'll have to fill out, and your bank details for where you want to get paid, and it's all managed through the Civitai interface, but it's being managed by our payment processor. Payment processor, by the way, is Civitai. Civitai are very big, very trustworthy. They run all the payouts for Roblox, for other big corporations. So we've been testing with them and using them for the past year, and everything works fairly straightforward that way. I would like to reiterate, though, this method, having buzz that you're being used to claim a stake in a pool, is literally the best way for us to do this. And we did consider all the alternatives, but in the end, this was the way. And I think it's it's got a fun element to it as well. Let me see. There is a terms of service specifically related to this system. You can see it on the creator page. Oh God, what's happened? You'll see it on this page here. Down here, terms of service. There are a few things that you might want to keep in mind there. I have dreamt up some strategies which kind of would be less than sporting to use. So there are policies targeting payout manipulation, collusion with other large creators, and we will be checking the source of buzz during the payout phase. Bottom line with the system, it's not what many of you were hoping for, and we see that in the feedback all the time. We understand that. Everyone was hoping for a sort of, you give us your buzz and we pay you a fixed amount for it. That would be ideal. That's the way that we've always wanted it to work. It just won't work. We tried that with the creators program that we had. It worked fine for 50 people. Now we're trying to do this for 10,000 people. It just doesn't scale. So this way, everyone who's creating, who's earning, who's contributing to the site has a fair shake at getting something out of it. All right. If people just joining us, the TLDR there for 5 minutes of waffling is you bank your buzz to secure a portion or a share of a pot in its simplest form. If the pot was $100 and you put in 1 buzz and someone else put in 3 buzz and nobody else put in any buzz, one person would get $25 and the other person would get $75. It's a proportional share system. And this is the first month of running this, and we are open to making tweaks and adjustments once we see how this month plays out. And I am looking forward to seeing the results of this month, what everyone takes away at the end of the day. And we have been collecting all the feedback, and yeah, once this month's through, we will see what needs to change. I can see some questions in the chat. I'll probably come back to some of these. Let's just mention what Yuritaku is saying here. If you're just joining us, if you're wondering why generation's so slow, why things are timing out, why you've been getting bad results in the past couple of days, it is exactly this. We've opened our generator to use every available checkpoint on the site. It is overwhelming our infrastructure, but we are working on it. It's not an ideal situation. I'll recap that at the end of the stream. All right, I've just been pinged by, here we go, guys, here we go. Oh, okay. It's not the worst news. I was expecting to say, we're rolling back right now, but we're not. We're deploying experimental fixes that may alleviate the issues. Probably about 30 more minutes to confirm whether it's made an impact. Okay, so we're not rolling back just yet. Okay, let's continue. Controversial one. Advanced mode in the generator. So we did release this last week, or I think it was last week. Cross ecosystem model usage in the generator. So right now, most of you guys who use the image generator or who just generate images in general understand the intricacies of SDXL plus Pony or Illustrious plus SDXL or whatever plus whatever. But increasingly, we're seeing new users joining the site. Bearing in mind we are seeing 8,000 users every single day join, and the vast majority of them have no concept of a model ecosystem. They try to mix a bunch of resources with checkpoints, and then they complain when their output is absolute dog water. So to combat that, we have pushed advanced mode in the generator. But the problem is you have to opt into it. So we can't just ask new users, people who just arrived on the site, they're fumbling around, they're trying to make an anime waifu. We can't ask them to opt out of an advanced mode. That's just backwards. So you have to opt in. If you're not seeing every resource that you think you should, you can toggle advanced mode on. So if you go to create here, if you go to swap, up here in the top right corner, there's an advanced mode. Allow unrestricted mixing of additional resources and base models. You can also turn it on from your settings, your account settings, I believe. Let's see. Somewhere in here, there is advanced mode, generation settings. There's an advanced mode card, which doesn't have the same outline as the rest of the cards. Literally unusable. Oh, that's disgusting. What? Sorry, guys. I'll get that on the list. Let me make a note of this real quick. Disgusting formatting. Generation settings card. I will make sure that this goes to the top of the dev list. All right. So there you go. That's how you turn on advanced mode. Now, advanced modes only affects the combinations that you can put together of checkpoints and and LoRa's right now. In the future, it does give us options to expand generation features a bit for users who are a bit more savvy, or want to experiment a bit more. So we are talking about bringing purely advanced features to the generator. Let me just respond to this. Cool. Upcoming features. Let's talk about some things that are dropping super soon, either in QA or they're in the final stages of development, or they might just be on hold because of all the excitement that's happening right now. The orchestrator changes, the worker changes. Those those changes, the worker and orchestrator changes, are blocking everything right now. Obviously, we don't want to keep iterating. We don't want to keep releasing things when we're in a state that we're not quite sure whether we're going to keep, whether we're going to have to roll back. So a bit of a pause on new releases right now. Got a question here. Well, not a question, a comment. And adding features, not fixing the site and the leaderboard. So unfortunately, and I addressed this right at the start, these things are not things that can be easily fixed. We are at the limit of what our hardware can handle, especially our database system. We're getting 8,000 new users every day, 4,000 new LoRa's we're training every day, 1.2 million images generated every day. And all of that has a cost. And yeah, the glass is full, and we keep topping it up, and we keep fighting to stop the glass from overflowing, pretty much. So things that sound like simple fixes, like fixing the leaderboard. So that's a job that runs, that has to collate together millions of rows, records of information. It's increasingly difficult to do that with the increasing amounts of data that we have. Money is the issue. It's always been the issue. It is the issue right now. If we had unlimited amounts of money, we'd have Hadoop, we'd have MapReduce, we'd have fantastic database systems, but we don't. We are on what we can afford. We're making do with what we can afford. So it's an unfortunate situation. And I think I mentioned it before. Our financials are all open. You can have a look if you haven't seen. If you go to the newsroom at the bottom here, I've got it up here. Transparency report. Our 2024 transparency report shows where our money is going. All right. It's not going on Lamborghinis, I can tell you that. Although one thing I do want to bring up is that we do talk about salaries in here. Salaries is a big chunk of our money. We've had quite a few employees over the past year. We've had to slim down considerably the number of active employees that we have. So what you're seeing here paid out in salaries also includes contractors. It includes people who are no longer with us. At one point, we did have a lot more people working for us. So don't look at this and think, hey, there's such a small team. Why are they making so much? It doesn't really work like that. But again, tech salaries are high. We've got 6 developers. Yeah, it's not as straightforward as you think it is. That's the story on why we can't fix the leaderboards and the site. Where was I? Oh yeah, features that are coming out. So we do still try to roll out features because we can't stagnate. We have to constantly iterate, yes. But we also do try and, like I said, keep the glass from overflowing. Oh, that's what I was going to mention. Completely forgot. 8,000 new users every day, and less than 1% of our users actually give us any money. And there's something about that. I want to come back to that at the end, because there's comments on our articles that really quite annoy me. I know I shouldn't let them annoy me, but they really do. So we'll talk about that at the end. Something to look forward to. But yes, 1% of our users actually give us any money. Okay, bro. Goodness. Can you see the candle right now? Oh, no, you can't. Can you see it? Yeah. Got to spend. You've got to, scented candles. Mandatory. The leaderboard was why you were signed up. That's really interesting. The leaderboard was why you were signed up. The leaderboard jobs, they do still work most days. It's quite uncommon that the leaderboards fail for multiple days in a row. All right, let's talk about some of the new features anyway. Private generation. We talked about this in the past. I can give you a little bit about it now. Show it off to you a little bit. So this is the ability to train a LoRa and then use it on Civitai without ever publishing it. Nobody else will see it, with some caveats and some restrictions, obviously. So firstly, it's a member-only feature. You'll need a bronze, silver, or a gold tier membership to be able to use it. Each tier will have limits determining how many private models you can have at one time. So bronze can have 3, silver can have 10, and gold can have 100. Under this system, every training run that you make, you'll be able to test the epics for 15 days after the end of training. You'll be able to generate from the epics. After the 15 days, the generation function will be disabled, and you will have to publish it or push it into your private models to continue using it. So you'll have unrestricted access to every epic for 15 days after you train a model. Let me show you an example, actually, if I come up to my training section. And I look at necromancy. So I've got a bunch of epics here, and I can create with each one of them. Just click the create button, it adds that epic into the generator, and I can generate with it unrestricted for 15 days. You can also combine. It's not limited to a single training run. So say I wanted to test Epic 8 from this training run and Epic 6 from another training run. You can combine them both in the generator and see how they'll interact. You can also see how it interacts with other resources on the site. So you can try out Epic 9 or Epic 10 and see how that interfaces with a detailer like that, the hand fixing Lauras or whatever. So that's pretty cool. Let's go back to the training tab. Let's talk about this. Epics models that you've trained, everything in here will still be retained for 30 days. So no change there. They'll be deleted after 30 days. So publish them or push them to private within that time frame. So let's go back to necromancy, actually. After 15 days, the create button is just going to disappear, and you'll be able to hit this continue button, and then you'll have two options. At the bottom here, you'll have the chance to publish it publicly, just like the normal flow that we currently have, or you'll have the chance to keep it private. You can keep it private. There's no limit to how long it can be private for, and you can publish it at any time. You cannot publish and then go backwards and make something private. So one of the things that's holding this back that I really need to mention is the safety features of this. We do have to have safety systems in place to ensure that this isn't going to be abused and get us all in big trouble. So the initial plan is that private generation will be PG and PG-13 only. If you do manage to make an image which is a little bit sexier, there's a good chance it'll be denied, and you will receive a full refund when that happens. Now, in future, and we are developing better systems to hopefully evolve this a little bit more. But when it goes live, yeah, it's gonna be PG-13 only. Do I have any private models? I think I've got some private models right now. Show you how those look. Yep. So everyone now has, or will do, have a draft tab and a private tab. Anything in your private tab cannot be seen by anyone else, but it can be used just like any other model. And it gives you a chance to, flesh out the description, to generate images, to add images to it, that sort of thing, before you actually publish it, if you ever want to publish it. When you do want to publish it, you can hit this button, publish this model. You get two more options. It doesn't go straight away published. You can publish it immediately, should you wish to, or you can set it to draft. You can push it into your drafts, so it's still not visible. The reason why you'd want to push it into drafts, perhaps, is because you might want to apply early access to it, or usage controls prior to making it live. So that is private models. And I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, next, what have we got? Image generator dimensions. Okay, so We had to push this one back a bit because of all the issues that are happening right now, but Illustrious, for example, Illustrious 1.0 and 1.1 are available now. We still don't support its native 1500 pixel dimension, its resolution, but that is changing. So we are working towards custom aspect ratios in the generator. Let's see, other generation improvements. Speaking of Illustrious, by the way, a little bird tells me that Illustrious 2.0 will be available on the site Friday, maybe Monday. I'm not really sure. Okay, other workflows. We've got some workflows in the pipe for the generator. They're either in QA or they're in testing right now. Again, they're blocked because of the worker rollouts and the orchestrator nonsense that's happening. But I have implemented an upscale workflow, a bit like Magnific's upscaling process, not quite as good, but it's real simple. You throw in an image and you set your output size and the number of detail iterations, and you can get quite really nice upscales from it. I can't show it to you right now. It's not in our staging environment at present. We've also got background removal, which works especially well with kind of stickery style images. You can technically use it on any image, but it does work best with a well-defined subject, and it will output transparent PNGs, which is new and pretty cool. It works a little bit like the I made a sticker flow. Let's jump over and look at that using BiRefNet removal, which is kind of a more modern background removal system. So not that one. Oh yeah, that one. But this one. So background removal is going to be really, really cool for it. It pretty much uses this flow actually for making stickers, making cool stuff. And you'll be able to do that directly within the generator. So very cool. And let me see what else is on my list. Let me take some questions. Let's see, questions. Okay, bro's waiting for Illustrious 2.1. Well, actually, funny you should mention that. I don't know. 2.1 will probably be out next week, right? There's a lot of versions coming for Illustrious, I know that. Is there anywhere to view the current 40 boosted checkpoints? Yes, but that is going to be improved. So right now, it's slightly difficult, and we know that. The only way to see them right now would be to go to the Create button and hit the swap button and look at the boosted tab. So everything here is in order. So first place, second place, third place, and then you've got the remaining places down below, down here. But we're changing this. Well, this will remain the same, but we're adding additional visibility here, I believe. So you will be able to come here, and there will be somewhere that you can see yesterday's winning bids. Why is it not possible for me to get on the leaderboard if it is working? Which leaderboard specifically were you looking to get on? Because, let's see. So if this displays, if it looks like this, it's calculating, right? It's updating. If it looks blank, have we got any blank ones right now? Maybe we don't. God, my mouse wheel is broken. That's why I have to keep middle mouse scrolling it, and it's terrible. I don't know if we've got any blank ones. When we say that the leaderboards are broken, that's what I'm talking about. When they're blank, they'll just see a gray page here. That just means that the job failed to compute, failed to, update. But if you're seeing people in them, then the job's running. And the generator leaderboard, generator. Master generators, top generators. If you want to know how we're calculating these, you click this little button up here, and it will tell you. This one's calculated based on the amount of GPU time that has been utilized. This guy has made a lot of images. Ooh. Yeah, so it should be working. If you feel that it's not after some time, like you feel like you should have placed, then let us know. Send a message to support and we'll look into it. But most of them have a bit of a formula here, like square root of reactions, diminishing returns up to 120 entries, only last 30 days are considered. But you can see, like, everyone's placing, and you can see that, Pinkalicious has moved up 2 places from yesterday. So there we go. Any other questions? Questions, concerns? I can recap the situation that we're currently in. For those of you who missed me at the start of the stream, issues with email, logins, signups, that is in hand as much as we can possibly, take that forward right now. It's our email provider that is having problems. They're doing something funky, and we are waiting to get a response from them. That's not true. We did have a response from them. We've got 2 tickets open. We had a live chat with them, and the live chat was hilarious. I don't know if they were trolling us or what, but the CivBot is generally pretty good. I don't know if this was a bot we were talking to, but it was absolutely hilarious. I don't have the text right now. I could have read it to you, but it was just surreal, absolutely surreal. So that's the issue with the email. We are trying to speak to a real person. Replication lag, yep, it's been up and down, ever present nemesis. It's been pretty atrocious the last week or so, and that's another side effect of 8,000 new users a day, and 2 million images generated and 4,000 LoRa's. It's just queries that run to compute the leaderboards, for example, that just take a long time, and that causes replication lag. So we've been doing our best to optimize, add indexes, remove old data that we don't need, tags on images. There's a whole bunch of things that we've been trying to simplify and strengthen. Question there, any more flux checkpoints? Oh yes, flux checkpoints on the generator. So right now, the new orchestrator that is currently having the problems, it does have the ability to run flux fine tunes, but we haven't turned it on yet because obviously it's not the best timing. If we can make this work, then then we'll probably be turning on flux fine tunes as well. But again, all depends on what happens in the next 24 hours with the new orchestrator and the model rollout. Model indexing, talked about that at the start. Newly trained or uploaded content just not being visible in your profile or on searches, or when you go to pick a model. We're aware of that. We're working on that. That's kind of very high up the priority list as well. The full checkpoint coverage. So I talked about this at the start. This is the big issue of the site on the site right now. We were very ambitious with this. We knew it was going to be tough to make work. We opened up all checkpoints for generation. That's like 28,000 checkpoints that you can possibly use. And we're currently seeing about 700 checkpoints, unique checkpoint versions being used concurrently, which is up like 4 times what we were previously supporting. We did make some big changes to facilitate this. We changed our worker code, made it 25% more efficient. We brought on a huge number of GPUs, 4090 GPUs. We updated our data center to allow models to allow GPUs, I should say, to share models between VRAM rather than having to download from Cloudflare, and it's still not enough. So huge demand. Pretty disappointing generation timings. Success rates very low across the board. We are still transferring so much data back and forth. So I can tell you that I think we've got just over 450 GPUs, and we've got 700 unique models, unique checkpoints being used at any one time. So obviously there's a huge amount of swapping going on there. Generation quality has degraded as well. That's a secondary issue. We're not quite sure why, but it's obviously all related to this rollout. Orchestrator guys are working on it. The last update I had, which was like 20 minutes ago, fixes are deploying right now. Hopefully alleviate issues. We're going to need some more time to confirm, but the worst case scenario is that there is a very real chance that we'll have to abandon this checkpoint coverage change, and it is being considered. It's still on the table. Pretty disappointing, and I do feel bad. I mentioned this earlier. I do feel bad for the two orchestrator guys. They've been working pretty much round the clock on this for the past few weeks, months even. But again, I want to make it clear, it's not that this was not tested enough. It's just so hard to test with the kind of production volumes of traffic that Civitai generates every day. So tens of thousands of requests hitting the orchestrator every minute. So we will see what happens. Keep an eye out for announcements. All right. Lastly, let's see. I've got tickets there. Yep. Just looking at some of the comments in chat here. Cosmic Crafters asking, keep the 400. They're being used at 700. They're being used. Actually, depends on 700 is the average. So at peak, we've been hitting over 1,000 checkpoints being used. And previously, we were supporting 200. So very difficult. If it gets reverted, will it get abandoned entirely? No, that's one of the tough things, you know. If we have to roll this back, we don't want people to think that we've given up on this dream of supporting everything. That would not be the case. I'm sure that we would try to bring this back when we could actually support it, for sure. All right, last thing I wanted to bring up was ending the stream on a high note. So yes, we've had a lot of feedback on this change, on the auction change that we talked about, on the Creator Club. Great feedback. We love the feedback, and I read it all, even the negative stuff. Have to read the negative stuff. And a lot of it is excellent feedback, right? One thing that I do want to bring up is the concept. It's not even a concept. Comments about how greedy we are. Greedy bastards is the most frequent one. That's a comment that is frequently directed at us in the articles. The last person to say it, naming no names, of course, I did look at their account, and they had generated 6,000 images on the generator in the past 5 months. And you know how much they had supported us? 0. They never bought Buzz. They had never been a subscriber, never posted an image to the site, and never trained a model. And that's not an isolated incident. So many people make such comments on our articles. Very often the same story when I look into their accounts. Don't get me wrong, of course, the fact that they're free users is absolutely fine. We know that we have probably the most generous free tier of all the model sharing and image gen sites. And I'm happy for them because image gen is really good fun. It's addictive. We all know that. That's why we're here. But to turn around and to call us literal greedy bastards when we're trying to secure the future of the service is out of order. And I would just invite anyone in the same position to think about what they've got out of the service before commenting something like that. All right. We do get, like I said, though, we do get a lot of good feedback from the article comments. There's a lot of angry people out there. There's a lot of passionate people about there. And we do read and listen to all of it. We're not ignoring you in these comment sections. All right. That is it from me today. I will see you all again on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, if you've got any questions or concerns that we haven't talked about here, please do reach out to me. My DMs are open on the site. You can email me, ali@civitai.com, or if you're having site issues, which you think might be more prevalent than just for yourself, please do create a ticket from the support button in the bottom right-hand corner down here. Click this button here, and there is a link to the ticket portal here. Don't bother asking CivBot, he'll probably lie to you anyway. All right. Oh, you can also email support@civitai.com. And absolutely not, I am not going to show my vault off to you guys because it's full of testing content. Yep. Yeah, we didn't talk about expanding the vault. That's still something that we do want to talk about in future. But right now we've got fires to put out, and we'll have to cover that at a later date. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Regarding these changes, just one last thing regarding these changes that are going out now. Let me see. I've been pinged. Let me see if there's an update for you before I go. No, I do not have an update at this time. So fingers crossed for better generation timing, better throughput on image gen, and I will let you know in Discord, discord.gg/Civitai. I will let you know in Discord, and I will put up an announcement as soon as we know what's happening. If the worst comes to the worst and we have to revert this change, I will give you that information as soon as I know it. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you all watching and listening to me waffle for an hour, and I will see you next time. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.